And good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Anime Show. As you can see up there, Anime Show. Let's anime. I'm checking levels right now. I have my mic is on according to my little streaming program here. So let me know if you guys can hear me out there in chat. And on the stream, welcome once more. Again, welcome. I can't tell. I'm hoping it's on. There was that one of the earlier streams that I did way back where I went on for about 10 minutes and there was no sound. It was, but there is actually sound, I'm pretty sure. So if there is any kind of technical difficulties, please let me know in chat. Again, welcome. This is Anime Show. Let's Anime episode number 28. Welcome back, everybody. I know it's been a while since the last episode, which was a few weeks ago, 3 or 4 weeks ago, almost a month ago, just last month. Things have been a little busy, so we're hoping to get back into the swing of streaming here. So again, episode 28. Please do subscribe down somewhere in there on the YouTube. There is a little subscribe button, and then hit the little notification bell so you know when these are going to be streaming. You can also follow me on Twitter, which is right there. I'm pointing at myself. Little box. I'll be talking about when the next streams will go live. So with that, let's go to our sponsor, quote unquote. Again, tonight's episode is again brought to you by the folks at Starbucks store number 371, which is just down the street from me, and I have myself here a little beverage. This one is, I believe it's a venti blonde vanilla latte, which is quite tasty. Pardon me while I drink. I also have, of course, some chocolate cornets. Yeah, they're in the bag. They're in here. Chocolate croissant, but just in order to appease the Rimirin, I do have that. You know who else likes to have a little bit of Starbucks? Yeah, Aiai. But I digress. So anyway, she's having something frosty. It's a little chilly right now. It's a little cold. I think it's in the 50s right now, so I'm having something warm. Again, my beverage of choice. So yeah, that's the Tonight's episode is brought to you by, well, not really, unofficially. They agreed to let me use it. Let me mention the store here. However, tonight's episode is not still sponsored by Bushiroad, sadly. But so anyway, let's get to some stuff. I think we've got a full deck tonight of stuff. So let's get about into things, onward and upward. So we begin with our first segment, affectionately Bandori Appreciation Time. And of course, we take a moment and let the music of that just sink into your pores, get down into your chakras, crown chakra, third eye, throat, and so on, all the way down, all your chakras. Just let them, excuse me, let them enjoy the starbeat. Now, having said that, let us remember, of course, also, since this is Bandori Appreciation Time, that it's all Bandori related, right? That's the lesson we've learned very early on. Everything ties together. Bandori is the glue. It's the knot. It's basically the connection. The connection for everything in the universe connects to Bandori, whether we like it or not. That's the hill I'm going to die on. So we'll leave it at that. So let's begin our Bandori appreciation with a moment of Zen. Take it away, Aiai. Sorry for all you Aiai fans out there who are lurking in chat, who are not in the chat room right now. I just had to, because she's sleeping. It's an anime thing. You need the snot bubble. But let's make sure that a sleeping Aiai should not be confused with Saichi, who appears to be able to nap anywhere. As we have seen her before, here we can see her napping on a railing somewhere, or on the floor next to a microphone, and more recently on a keyboard. Hope she doesn't get any indentations on her face, but yeah, don't mistake sleeping Aiai with a napping Saichi, a sleeping Saichi, who should also not be confused with a sleeping Kudo. And that's a sleeping Kudo, not to be confused with a pouty Kudo, or for that matter, a Kudo in a cart. Why she's in a cart, I'm not exactly sure. That I think that was from a music video that she did. Why would Kudo, why are you in a cart? Really, that can't be comfortable. It's raining out there. You must be cold. Maybe there's something I'm missing. But anyway, yeah, no Kudo in a cart. But here, have an Aiai plush. Have an Arisa plush. It's a little scary. Yeah, it's a little scary. So here's something else scary. It's morphin time. No, I gotta say, I like that little bit that was from one of the Fever. I think it was a Fever episode. Garopa Fever, Pico Fever episode. It's Mashiro looking for her book. But that little transformation scene, I think, I gotta say, I believe it works. It works very well. It works much better with a little music. Now, if you remember, I did the music of Ran and Yukina racing to Chariots of Fire. I think this morphin time should be done to Carmina Burana as such. Yeah, I'd probably look like that at Mashiro too, but we all know how that ends. Ako found herself her new Kami-sama, apparently, or just somebody else new to look up to. Probably in addition to Rinrin, to Rinko. So having said that, here's our Bandori elf. Thank you, Rico Pin. All right, so now let's get into some announcements. So here we go. We're going to start off with some birthdays. I think we should get into it. Okay, ready for some announcements? All right, so Bandori birthdays. Here we go. The first, of course. I mean, look who you're talking to. It's me. So of course we're going to lead off with Aiai. Aiai's birthday was back on the 17th of this month, and then that's followed by Saichi. Here she is with her control board to pilot her mecha. Actually, it's to pilot her guitar, but you probably knew that. Her birthday was on the 10th, the week before Aiai's. Next, we have Ayasa from Morphonica, everybody's favorite violinist, rock violinist, of course. So Monica plays Rui in the animated version. Her birthday was on the 19th. And then next we have Rimirin. This was from her Twitter feed, so I pulled it. It was when she was a baby. She's eating a shovel. Probably has not yet attempted a chocolate cornet. So I'm sure she'll get to that eventually as the years pass by. So that was Rimi on the 25th. And then, of course, Yukina, the 26th, the day after. And since we're talking about the anime characters, my favorite, of course, Arisa, whose birthday was on the 27th. So happy birthday to everybody there in Bandori land. Now, a couple more announcements. The Roselia's 12th single, as we know, is out right now. Swear Night and Day. The coupling song is Our Carol. And there's the limited Blu-ray edition, which has 2 discs from the episode of Roselia Live that was just this past May at Fuji Q. And then coming out end of next month, November, is going to be Roz's 10th single, The Way of Life, and that has a limited edition Blu-ray, 2 discs, one of which is the footage from the B-Light live from 2021 at the ZEP Yokohama, and the other one is the live Overkill live from just this past June. And then continuing on with some more news. Let's see, here we go. All right, so this next one coming up tomorrow. Today actually, if you're in the future. So people here in the U.S., it's still the 29th. So tomorrow for us, but all you guys living in the future over in Asia, in Japan, it's today. Because it's about noonish or thereabouts. So today at 1700, 5 o'clock today, is the Team Y fan meeting. It's going to be at the Nippon Television Run Hall, which is a 1,000-seater venue in Tokyo. So I think tickets are on sale, or should be on sale, or have been on sale for that. So if you are over there, to catch it, get over to that hall today and check out. It's a big thing with the 3 Team Y folks. Ayasa-chan, Aimin, and Mikoron. Next up, we have, of course, coming up, Aimi's live tour for this year. So she just had one about a week ago. Should have been a week ago, 7 days ago, the 22nd, and that was in Fukuoka. The next one is going to be on the 3rd of November next week. And that's going to be in Aichi at the Kariya City General Cultural Center, and then followed by just about a month off, and then she picks up back in December on the 10th in Hyogo at the Kobe International House, and then on her birthday, the 25th, in Tokyo at the Tokyo Dome City Hall. So she's going to be playing all these instruments that you see up here. So she's going to be very busy during her live. So that should be fun. The next thing that we have is this found out today that at the X or EX Theater in Roppongi, Aiai will be performing at the Anison Divine Comedy Show, and that's featuring Oishi Masayoshi-san and Suzuki Airi, who you see here in these pictures. So that should be kind of fun. She had been on their show, Anison de Show, I think a couple months ago, and she did some singing there, and they interviewed her really quick. You should be able to find that on YouTube. If I remember, I'll try and put a link to that. That was kind of a fun little thing. They kind of went back to some of her history, showed off, when she used to be her former Gyaru self back when she was wrestling, talked about her wrestling, and then, they talked about Bandori, of course. So that's coming up. This event is going to be the 13th of December, sorry. That's December 13th, the Anison Divine Comedy Show, which sounds like a lot of fun. I wonder if they're going to have some kind of footage that they might put up on their YouTube channel. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll see something like that. And then, now let's get into some big events coming up just next month. The big one, of course, is the Girls Band Party, the Bang Dream Special Live Girls Band Party 2020 to 2022. I believe, if memory serves, this was the one that got postponed because of all the COVID stuff, and then got pushed over into I think it was supposed to be last year, and then got pushed to this year. Or this could be completely different, and I'm just talking out of my backside. So anyway, big event. This one is going to be November 12th. At the Belluna Dome in Saitama. So I believe Saitama is next to Tokyo, like to the northwest, neighboring city. So they're going to have it there. It's a big deal. So we're going to have all the four live bands, poppin'party, Roselia, Razor and Morphonica, with everybody involved in there, will be appearing. And then we're going to have appearances by Ayaneru for Afterglow, Amita for Pastel Palettes, and then Miku for Hello Happy World. So they're going to be performing their parts there. Apparently, there are also streaming tickets available. I think they went on sale last week, I want to say. And I want to say they're probably about $30 to $40 US. If you're US, I don't know what the exchange rate currently is for some of the other currencies, depending on where you might be in the world. I am sorely tempted. I may end up purchasing this, and I think it's going to run from to the 14th of November. The archive will be available. So I'm going to guess probably either you can watch it live or within an hour of the actual performance, and then they're going to have the archives open until the 14th. So if you are interested, go check it out. Grab your tickets there, and I may be joining you in grabbing those tickets. And then the next day, this is really cool. Not only do they have, these folks have an event on day one. Day two, the 13th, which is a Sunday, is going to be the Bushi Road 15th anniversary celebration, also at Belluna Dome in Saitama. This is going to be huge. It's basically an anniversary featuring the majority of properties that Bushi Road owns or is part of. And as it happens, a lot of the seiyus in Bandori are also in these related properties. For example, so it's going to feature Assault Lily, the Ichi Yanagi Corps, which I do believe includes Sumigurisa and Ushigomi Rimi. Their characters in there. I can't remember if there's a couple of other folks, Bandori folks, that are in there too. Those are the two I know about. It's also going to feature Review Starlight, the Kukugumi, which is going to have a bunch of people we already know. Ayasa is going to be there. Aiai, of course, as Saijo Claudine, and then, of course, maho-nee. Should throw that in because, everybody else is Bandori-related. Teru Ikta, Mimorin is in there too. And then, of course, we're going to have D4DJ will be present at the celebration, which includes Happy Around, Piki Piki, Photon Maiden, Mermaid, Rondo, Lyrical Lily, which of course has a bunch of folks also from Bandori and Review Starlight. there. Moepi is in there. Let's see, Saichi is in there. I think she's in Photon Maiden, either Photon Maiden or Mermaid. Amita will be in there. Aimi, of course, is in Piki Piki. Who else am I missing? Haruki, Iwata Haruki. Just Risa Sumugi is in there too. Just a bunch of people are there. And then, of course, the Bang Dream folks are going to be there. The four main bands, Popipa, Roselia, Roz, and Morphonica. And then, and this is what I thought was kind of cool. The Milky Holmes girls will be featured, which means, as you know, Guri Guri from Bandori. So it's the four ladies: Mikoron, Izumi Kita, Sora Tukui, and Mimorin, who played the four detectives in the Milky Holmes series, who are also the four girls, the four senpai for Guri Guri in Bang Dream. And I believe, according to the website that I was looking at, Feathers is also going to be featured, and that's the unit that was Futariwa Milky Holmes, was a spin-off from the original Milky Holmes, and that featured Ayasa and Aimi. So Ayasa and Aimi are going to be featured in that, so that should be pretty fun. In addition, it looks like Love Live. There's some other ones, and then of course Love Live is being featured. We're going to have folks from Aqua and from Nijigasaki High School Idol Club. So they're also going to be featured in there. This is going to be huge. Big bash that they're going to have. So that looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. Hey Jay. Welcome. You're late. You're here. Yes, thank you for joining us. Glad to have you on board. I'm sure there are other folks who are probably going to be coming late, or who are lurking and just don't want to be in chat. But thanks for joining on. Have to watch the beginning later. That's fine. Right now we're doing some announcements for Bandori stuff, and of course I've got my my Starbucks. We're all set to go. Now, let's see, and then on to some other Bandori news. All right. So as you might have noticed, or as I've noticed, Chiharun seems to be continuing to gain some traction as she does her SHIYOU stuff. And of course, as you remember, Chiharu is Aimi's little sister. That was mentioned way back. She is also a member of the Hibiki agency with everybody else in Bandori for the most part. So she's joining in with all the gang there. And it looks like her activities have been continuing to expand and grow. She's been, I believe, she had been in 24/7 or 22/7. Sorry. That anime, and then later when she got to Hibiki, she'd been doing some video games, and now of course she's doing her appearance on Cookpad, doing some cooking. We see her in the Team Y videos. She recently had a couple of small roles in an episode of Teppen, the anime that it featured pretty much a bunch of the Bandori people, particularly Team Y, of course, Mikoron, Aimin, and Ayasa as young comedians, a young comedian team. And then recently, we saw her hosting with Mikoron and Saichi an episode of Keiba Seiba. As you see here, the three of them, and this was during, I think there was a few months back, 2 months ago, or a month and a half, 2 months ago, I think it was, when Aiai was out with COVID. She got diagnosed. Incidentally, that she was diagnosed following an outdoor camping segment for Hibiki Style. I think it was Hibiki Style that also featured Chiharun as well as Tono Hikaru. So the three of them were out camping, and then I think a day or two later, she picked up COVID somewhere, diagnosed with COVID. She was out for a week. Her show, Aiba Keiba Seiba, was supposed to be on, so the three of them, these three here that you see on your screen, came in to help out. And then Chiharu is also featured in this particular show. This is called Hina and Chiharu's House Time, and it's on OpenRec TV, the same video streaming service that features Aiba Derby with Aiai. And as you know, Hina plays Kirigaya Toku, the guitarist for Morphonica. Incidentally, she was also Kitagawa Marin from My Dress Up Darling. So the two of them have this show. They're basically doing, they stream, they do stuff. Probably most recently they do some streaming and goofing around and that sort of thing. And then this one is something that I picked up just recently. This was on Twitter, I think yesterday. So this is basically Aiai and Chiharu. They're going to be appearing on December 10th at a talk event to commemorate the opening of a store called Joshin Nihonbashi. It's opening up in Osaka. And when I looked to find out exactly what Joshin Nihonbashi is, it looks like it's... one sec while I take a drink. It's basically the equivalent of a Fry's Electronics. For those of you who might remember Fry's when it was open, I think they died because of COVID, but it was just huge, gigantic, big box, kind of like Costco, but mostly electronic stuff, computers, tech, appliances, some household stuff, but it was mostly that. Big, so like basically IKEA, but electronics and appliances. Mostly electronics, techie stuff. If you're a tech head, a gearhead, Fry's was the place to go for pretty much everything. So it looks like Joshin Nihonbashi is something along those lines as well. So they're going to be down there in December, 12/10 for a grand opening. There's going to be a meet and greet and kind of a chat talk type thing. So it sounds like it's going to be kind of a cool thing. All right, so for this next part, give me a second, guys. I got to prep something on the back side, so hang on just a sec. All right, so this next piece of news that I'm gonna feature here, ordinarily I'd usually put it in with the next segment, but as it turns out, there is a Bandori connection, because I'll always find it, the Bandori connection, with Aiai and with me. It didn't quite work out the way I wanted to, but anyway. So this is a show that Aiai had on before her I think it was the Aiai Derby. This was called Aiai's Great Voyage, Aiai Dai Kokai. It was a radio show, pretty much a variety radio show that she had for a few, I think 2 or 3 years, I think, and then it went off the air. I think it was last year. And then she did her live stream with the Aiai Derby. So this one is back. Actually, they're coming back with a special edition episode next week on the 4th of November. And this one is going to guest star, among other people, Izumi Kita, who is, of course, also in Milky Homes, but she also plays everybody's favorite bassist from Glitter Green, Goody Goody, who of course is the owner of Debico, the plush demon. So that looks like it's gonna be a lot of fun. I think she, if I remember correctly, she's been in England doing stuff overseas, and then I guess is coming back to Japan for some time, or maybe she's going to be streaming in from or calling in from overseas. Yes, Jay, you're right. There's always a Bandori connection, and yeah, I miss Fry's too. That was a lot of fun to go. Apparently, this place, Joshin Nihonbashi, is like full of tapes and CDs and music and video games and computer equipment and all that stuff. So I guess it's going to be a variation of that. I believe there's a store. There's a well-known store in Tokyo or in Japan called, I think it's called Don Quixote. I don't know why it's called Don Quixote, but apparently it's basically a big box store with everything that you can think of under the sun, not specific to electronics or tech. So this is probably going to be I think it sounds like it's a variant of that, maybe. If we have anybody in chat who knows more about these two particular stores and can provide us with some of the nuances between the two, please chime in or let me know later on, maybe on Twitter, and say, you got it all wrong, Abner. You don't know what you're talking about. And then I'll, humbly comply and say I probably don't, but this is just a real quick search that I did. Seems to be that sort of store. So anyway, Aiai Daikokai Radio is going to feature Izumi Kita from Goody Goody, as well as from Milky Homes, the Milky Homes franchise. And then in other news, apparently Haruki is still in a box. As you can see here, not to be confused with Kudo Haru in a cart. So this is Haruki, so Haru Hako, and then Kudo Karto. That's really bad. I made a pun there. She's in a box, she's in a cart. And then we'll move on. Next news is please witness the power of a Super Megane Saichi. I'm not sure exactly. This was from a recent Bandori TV, and in these segments recently, they've had each of the seiyus will go up to read off announcements of one sort or another, or something that's coming up. So they get up behind a podium, and I don't know how it started, but they suddenly will pull out a pair of glasses and put them on and read kind of like a newscaster. So Saichi goes up, gets behind and starts to read, and then grabs a pair of glasses, puts them on, grabs another pair, and ends up like this. So she's very powerful when it comes to reading. I'm sure she'd probably end up like a microscope now. So she can see not just the words on the page, but the atomic structure of the words themselves, and the ink and the paper behind them, and probably straight down into the ground to wherever it is. She can probably see Ant-Man when Ant-Man goes down into whatever the micro world, the atomic world. So there you have it. That is that's the power of Saichi. And then just because I think it's time for Morphin Time. Alright, so scary video, the tentacles and the thing and the vines and whatever. Probably apt not only for Morphin Time, because that's the kind of music we should have for that sort of transformation. But since it is Halloween, coming up around the corner, I figured we'd get a look at that. And then if you remember from last time, let's watch Afterglow die.
どうしたラン
ここ鍵かかってるえ他のドアはどのドアも外から鍵がかけられてるねもしかして私たちが校舎にいることを知らずに警備員さんが鍵をかけちゃったのかもそれじゃあ私たち
閉じ込められた
And they die. No, not really. That was... I just had to put together... It looks like they die, right? They don't. It's one of the stories from the Bandori, the rhythm game, one of the side stories that you can play or watch. And I believe that's the one where they decide to go get something from school, because I think one of the girls forgot either a notebook or a textbook or something. So they go after hours, and it's the whole thing where the 7 legends in the school, so they think they're hearing ghosts, and that happens. But no, in my version, they die, and they come back as ghosts or zombies or something. So that's the Bandori news, things that are happening, and so now let's hear a word from our not sponsor. And of course, because we like hearing it, here is Ayaneru and her screech. Now, I like that. It's cute. You don't expect it, especially when she's doing that, which I've explained before. So this next set of videos, oh, there's in chat, the bathroom ghosts have to be the number. Oh, are you talking about the one where you're in the bathroom and she offers you you have to choose a red or blue or something colored, and if you choose one, you get sucked down into the toilet to hell, and the other one you die, something like that. Is that the one you're talking about, Jay? Because that's the one I know of. That's the one where you have to choose something, or she asks you, and if you respond to her, you die or get sucked down through the toilet into hell, something. Yeah, that's why is it that there's got to be a bathroom demon, and only in Japan, right? I don't think there's any bathroom demons, right? You love it when she screeches. That's one of my favorite too. So, given that screech, and I'll play it again just because it's fun. And that's basically just her not wanting the because they're making matcha in there. So the matcha, I guess she thinks is going to fly out when she hits the little hand mixer. So if you like that screeching, this next video also features Ayaneru. I think it's within the last year or so. I'll give the context afterwards, but I'm just going to show this to you. This is courtesy of May. May is not in chat right now, but when she does come, if she comes, I'll have to thank her for it. I'll thank her. I've thanked her multiple times already for sending me this clip, and so I present to you a few further Ayaneru screechings. Thank you, Ayaneru. Between those two, I think I'm gonna have so much fun for the next. Just keeping those videos. Jay, she is the best screecher. Oh, right, right. Just the expression, just the sound, the dismay, the frustration, all combined into that. So let's get back to the U.S. doesn't have bathroom demons, but like you're the most vulnerable. Oh, that's true. Bathroom ghosts are the meanest. Well, isn't there this is the one that I remember from when I was a kid, and I'm sure other kids know about this. The Bloody Mary one. I think that's only supposed to happen in the bathroom, right? That's the one where you go in the bathroom, turn off the lights, light a candle. You're supposed to say Bloody Mary 3 times. Looking in a mirror, she's supposed to appear. Does she just appear? Because I heard it, she just appears, and basically that freaks everybody out. Is there more that happens in does she appear and then do you die when you see her? Is it one of those things, or does she come out of the mirror to grab you? Kind of like that. What is that in The Ring, where the girl comes out of the TV when you're watching with the long hair and everything? She comes out and you die or whatever. Does she yank you into the mirror and then you're into some sort of nether hell where you never return from? If you know that legend, I just know that she's supposed to scare you when she appears in the mirror, and then you go running, and it's usually a game played by preteen girls, because I always heard about it from preteen girls in grade school. And I always wondered. I don't think guys ever get together and say, "Hey, do you want to do the Bloody Mary thing?" A lot of mirror ones. I don't. Jay says, "Oh, that's right, Candyman too. That's right." I think there was something to do with that, which I never actually saw the movie. My sister did. Back, when it came out, she and her friends saw the movie. I think she said it was very scary. So I've never actually seen Candyman. Yeah, slumber party games, I never did any of that. I don't think guys really have slumber parties. We just go over everybody's house, other people's houses, and hang out and, I don't know, do guy stuff. For me, we just stayed up late and played Dungeons and Dragons until like 3 a.m. or something. So those were the slumber parties, not really a slumber party. So yeah, well, let's see, where were we? Okay, so that was Ayaneru. So that segment, or those little clips, come from a show. I believe it recently came out. It's supposed to be like a short comedy, like I guess it's a sitcom, for lack of a better word. The 3 guys that you see in the video apparently are former entertainment producers, or who've worked in the entertainment industry, and they decide to get in the cash in on the whole YouTube VTuber phenomenon. And apparently Ayaneru's character is a VTuber that they pair up with, and I guess they get together and then hijinks ensue. There's always hijinks ensue, and I'm really glad. I would like to see an episode of this just to get to a point where Ayaneru does her screech into any of the one of those that we just saw. So yeah, I'm happy to share that with you. And if you're somewhere there when you get here, or I'll just on Twitter later, I'll probably say thank you for the Ayaneru screeches. Those are a lot of fun. So we'll go from Ayaneru. We'll get kind of clean out our chakras with some kokoron, shall we? Because, I mean, how do you beat somebody who leaps out of the 2nd floor window of a high school, cartwheels across the quad, basically, and lands in a pose like that? Kokoron, ladies and gentlemen. I think the one person who could probably top her is my girl, of course, Aiai. I mean, how do you beat that pose, right? She's just ready. She's ready to go. I half expect fire or flames to come out of her hands, and boom. So let's see. Hey, I'm late, sorry, I have some time to stay here for a while. Great, come join us. We have Jay is in chat. I don't know if Stuka is around. I'm sure he's nearby, but you say hi to Jay. Jay, this is you. I know you from Twitter, and I invited you to come along. I think you're she. Yeah, bias. Yes, of course. Completely bias. After all, earlier in the stream I talked about, I'm just going to flip back. So earlier I said that I have I bought a Starbucks, which I always have with my stream. And who else likes Starbucks? Of course. And then a lot of the birthdays, we started off with and so on. So yeah, definitely Aiai tops it right there. So we go from Kokoron leaping out of the 2nd floor of Hanajo to Aiai getting ready for her pose, ready to fight, which of course leads us into our 2nd segment. Yes, right. Now Jay is really cool. Jay and Stuka, who probably is in chat somewhere or ends up in chat here, they're both really cool. I'm sure we'll get some more people coming in. They're probably just late. May's usually in here, and so is hope we have free SB2 while here. Well, I did mention that I do get Starbucks just before the stream, and when I talked, I think I'd mentioned this in a previous previous episodes, I asked the folks there if it'd be okay if I mention that store here on the stream. So they said, yeah, go ahead. Their store number 371, which is nearby, which is actually about 10 minutes away from my house here. Unfortunately, we're not sponsored by them, technically, but I do, I plug them here. The best sponsor, of course, would be Bushi Road, but we're not quite... you share, right? Wouldn't that be cool? Free Starbucks, free SB, free Pseudobucks, Staba. That would be awesome. If I can get some free stuff, I'd probably send it off to you guys, mail you guys. Here's a Starbucks gift card, for $20 or something. Equivalent in your country's currency. Yeah, I do. I keep telling. I told them. I don't know if they can technically sponsor, but I did tell them that I would freely give their name, the particular store that I frequent. I tell them I get all my stuff there. I show their thing on screen. So well, it could happen, right? We could be sponsored by Starbucks. I have tried to write to Bushi Road to sponsor me since I do a lot of Bandori material here. So haven't heard anything. I think I've only sent 2 emails to their promo department, their PR department, and their sales department, thinking maybe they can hook me up. Not that I want anything, but just to say, hey, I do a lot of a promo for Bandori, for Bang Dream, for everything related to Bandori. As we all know, everything is Bandori related. It's the Bandori connection, right? And I tried to sing that song, which didn't quite work out because I didn't time it properly. But I always find it the Bandori connection with I and with I me. There you go. It's supposed to sound like that, but it didn't quite earlier. So anyway, we go to the Aiai pose, which takes us into our next segment of the evening, which is, of course, Cho Seiyu Sanjo, otherwise known as
Ojo-sama.
That's right, Ojo-sama, the outstandingly joyful and over-enthusiastically unbelievable society of Aiai and maho-nee appreciation. So everybody, Gokiken yo, and of course, Aiai, actually, Maho has a question for everybody.
皆さん、お元気ですか？元気です。
And cue the music. Always my favorite slideshow of the show. Everything's my favorite here, but of course it's Aiai and Maho. All the better. And Genki, that every single, yes, I know. You've told me, Jay, that you like that leave. Oh, Genki desu ka? And then she just comes up right in the middle of everything. Yes, best chaotic duo. Yes, you waiting for. I haven't heard it. Like I said, I haven't heard anything from Bushi Road because that would be awesome. I may just send them an audio clip. Here's what I do. Here's what you hear on my stream. I always talk about Bandori. I mean, it's called Bandori Appreciation Time, and so we have an entire segment of stuff related to the show, the anime, the SHIYOU, and everything. So this next part, Goki Genyo to everybody, is Aiai and maho-nee Appreciation Time. Also known as Ojo-sama, as you see back over there. So the very first thing that I want to point out is, well, this is Maho. This is a duck. This is Maho with a duck on her head. I'm not really sure what the context of this was. She tweeted this at one point on Twitter, of course. I can't remember exactly what she said in her tweet, I just found it and I said, okay, I need that. I need to put it in the show. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, yeah, that's. I think you can stop any conversation just by showing an image of Maho and the duck. So Maho duck. Yeah, there's got to be a song in there somewhere. I'll find it and I'll share it with everybody. So Aiai and Maho, Maho Appreciation Corner. So Maho, what has she been up to lately? Well, as I reported the last episode, last time on previously on Anime Show, we reported that Maho had been in a show called Siderius, which was a musical that dealt with the meeting between Johannes Kepler and Galileo. I can't remember exactly what the time frame was, but so apparently these two greats of the world of astronomy meet, and in the story it's about the two of them meeting and doing some discoveries, and it's a musical. Quite an unlikely musical, of course, but you know, it's a musical. Maho was part of it, and you know, that was her thing. So most recently she's in another musical. This one is called Mahoroba Kanata. It's another serious one, another musical extravaganza, and apparently it tells the story of the it takes place, I think, in the late Edo period of Japan. I know Stuka is a big fan of Japanese history, so he might enjoy this, and if it ever comes out on DVD, I'll have to point him to you. So the musical is called Mahoroba Kanata. It tells the story of the second Choshu expedition, late Edo period. I can't remember what the dates are, and the story has to do with the Choshu domain's army of some 4,000 men defeats the Bakufu, the Tokugawa shogunate force of 150,000 men. So it's kind of like, you know, the rebels against the empire in Edo period Japan. Which, I mean, come on, that's pretty hardcore in terms of storytelling. It's not something that you'd normally see. Hey, let's make a historical. Yeah, I mean, it's like taking Hamilton, right? So we get that kind of thing. It totally sounds like something he would. Yeah, right. You know, I think he'd have a fun time with that. I mean, when was the last time you saw a Japanese history made into a musical? Right. I mean, think of it'd be like taking the Shogun miniseries, turning that into a musical, which I'm sure they've probably done. If they haven't, they probably should. I mean, we get some hardcore. You know, we've gotten Les Mis, we've gotten Miss Saigon, Hamilton. You know, things of that nature. And of course, Maho has already done Les Mis. She actually, I think this was in the mid to late 80s, I believe, or in the 90s. She actually was I think it was one of the touring companies in Japan for Les Miserables. She actually played Cosette, which is an interesting casting decision, because I don't know, maybe she had a different look back when she was younger, but I can't quite see her as a Cosette. I would see her more as Eponine. She's got the vocal power for it, as evidenced by what I've seen in the review Starlight Lives. I can totally see her as Eponine, but you know, maybe she was younger, she had a different vocal style, and you know, played Cosette. So in this one, she plays one of the characters in this musical. Why not? Right? Why not? It's a historical musical, whatever. So that's currently playing, and I think her tweet from yesterday or the day before, they just started. They'd finished rehearsals, and they had just started. The shows have already been running. So I think she had just done 2 shows recently, and it's supposed to go on for another couple weeks or something like that. Another several shows. So she's currently busy with that. So right, so this is that show right here. So you can, it's kind of cool graphic for the show, and you can see toward the top of the page, that would be Maho. She's right next to the Mahoroba Kanata, right out there, the BA up there, that's her. Fortunately, I don't think I can give you a closer look, but maybe next time I'll show you. I'll do a close-up of that. So this next thing, sometimes, you know, sometimes in the world we live in, especially for SHIYOU, there usually comes a time, I guess, you know, if you guys already don't know, most SHIYOU don't get paid that much. I mean, it's not like poverty wages, but, you know, it's not, they're not billion-dollar artists like most movie stars. They get paid a fairly decent chunk of money, but, you know, they still need to get additional work, so they, you know, they kind of have to work their butts off getting paid. Oh yes, oh totally, yeah. I completely agree. Maho is very talented. I've seen some of her videos of other things that she's done, but for me, I think watching her in Starlight and review Starlight, the second live, Transition, is probably my favorite of the lives that I've seen so far. I know there's the later one where they do Starry Desert and all that, but and then there was the first review Starlight live, but the second one is my favorite. There are a couple of sequences in there where she just nails the sound, and I mean, compared to the other gals there, I mean, they sing well. I know Moepi has a very nice soprano, and she's got that nice range and almost like a crystal clear tone. Momoyo, as some of you might know, has done stage work. She was very much well known. I think she was playing Sailor Venus. I want to say she was Sailor Venus. She's one of the Sailor Scouts in a stage production of Sailor Moon, and I think she did that for a couple of years. And when she sings, she's got a very nice voice, a very also nice clear tone, very mellow tone. But something about Maho on stage, when she hits her songs or her chords or her notes, she's got this commanding tone about her. Like, yeah, you get goosebumps. I get goosebumps just watching her on stage. I mean, there's one song in Review Starlight Transition, My Pain. And someone, dear my pain, da 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 da. So there's a part in there where Moepi comes out and she's got this nice ringing tone in her voice, and then you hear Maho just nail this section, and boom, every single time I get goosebumps. I mean, just the power that comes out of her mouth, power that comes out of her voice, I shiver up the spine, and you're like, whoa, for me at least, right? It's every single song she sung, even her intro, where you have when they do at the beginning of Transition, where they do where everybody does their little intro song, and so it's basically roll call, so they get up, do a little intro song. Even her at the beginning, boom! I mean, something about that, just her delivery for that song, every single time she sings, there's something about her delivery that's so commanding. I mean, I can't take my eyes. I don't think anybody can, but for me, my eyes are riveted to her on screen, and it's like I can't look away. You know, it's one of those where she just, something about her presence, her stage, her stage presence just grabs you, and it's like grabs you by the short and curlies for the guys, and you can't turn away. So, kudos to her for doing productions like these. These are amazing. So yes, as I was saying, sometimes most SHIYOU don't get. I mean, they get paid a pretty decent amount, but there are some who take on additional work. They'll do some more voiceover work, announcing something as a virtual tour guide or something like that. I know, for instance, Mikuron has done public service messages for her hometown. I think it's Iwate Prefecture, where she grows up, or where she's from. So she's been an ambassador. They do lots of PR type of things. Excuse me. So in this case, it's only fitting for Aiai to have to do work at a concession stand to cover additional bills. So here she is working concessions, and PR takes a picture of her. No, I'm kidding, guys. This this is actually a promotional deal for her Keiba Seiba show. As the story goes, she was so each time she has her show, she of course has she bets money on horses. It's a horse racing program. She brings in a guest. They talk about the upcoming race, usually the 11th or 12th race of the day at Kawasaki Racecourse in Yokohama, just south of Tokyo. So apparently at this point in time, before she did this little promo thing and worked she's working. This is the one of the, I think there's three concession stands, 2 or 3 concession stands at Kawasaki Keibajo, the Kawasaki Racecourse, and this is one of them. They sell the croquettes, hash browns, and other things. So when she bets, I guess at this point the context was she wanted to fund the war chest for the show, so she decided she was going to work behind the counter at the concession stand to raise money. And I can't remember exactly how much money they raised. I think they raised a pretty decent amount, just enough to cover the war chest for the show. So this is her. I think this was about 2 months ago. She did this and she was working just before they went live with the telecast on YouTube. So if you were there, I think she tweeted to folks, if you were there, if you could go and you had the opportunity, you can get served by Aiai, and you can buy a drink. I think they sell alcohol, they mix drinks, just the regular stuff at a concession stand, and then you can go enjoy the horse race. So that's Aiai's baito, her arobaito, her part-time job. Speaking of which, since we are mentioning the Keiba show, she has the next one is coming up on the 7th, and she's actually going to be featuring Homoto Akina as her guest, and Akina is currently on Nijigasaki as Ranju, the exchange student in I think it's the 2nd season of Nijigasaki, and she also happens to be in the recent release of the Azure Lane video game. I think it's a recent character that she's playing. I think it's her character's called Harbin, and I believe, if I was reading it right, she's a medical ship that's in the game that's playable. So that's her character. That's her over in the corner. Now, incidentally, Akina has been play streaming a game on YouTube called Human Fall Flat with Uchida Shu, who, as it happens, was a recent guest on Aiba Keiba Seiba, and that was last month, or the month before. Shushu was yes. Oh, Stuka. Hey, Stuka. Yes, Azure Lane. You know what, guys? So first of all, Stuka, you has already met Jay. Azure. I have not seen Azure Lane yet. Okay, I probably should, because I liked. Oh, and I just Arpeggio of Blue Steel. I like that, and I think, isn't Azure Lane something similar to that? They're sentient ships, right? Something like that. And I think it's on one of my watch lists. It's on my playlist. I think it's on Funny. I want to say it's on Funny. If it's on Funimation right now, or if not, it's probably crossed over into Crunchyroll, of which I have. So I'm gonna have to check that out. It looked interesting. It looked kind of cool, and I never got a chance to watch it. So something to discuss in a future segment later on. But yes. Is it closer to Can Cole? Oh, more like Can Cole. Okay, so it's like Strike Witches, but they're ships, right? And I started watching Can Cole, and I think I was enjoying it. I'll have to go back and continue watching that. So I've just noted it down, Azure Lane, and go and finish watching Can Cole. Okay, so yeah, so right now, Akina is playing Harbin on Azure Lane, and I guess it's a recent character, recent mod for that, is based on what I was looking at. So that's the upcoming one. She's going to be on the 7th. Aiba Keba Seba, which is telecast on starting at 2010. It's a live stream, live namahoso on YouTube, actually on the Keba YouTube. And if you guys are interested, I can link to that channel. They're fun to watch, and as it happens, when it comes on is about the time that I wake up in the morning, so it's kind of nice to wake up to Aiai and whatever guest, and of course, bias, right? You said it. You've seen my post. It's all biased toward Aiai and a little bit toward Maho. Anyway, so this next Aiai feature, it's gonna be Aiai heavy right now. To some degree. Oh, we'll have some Maho also. In fact, Maho and a duck. Okay, just to keep balance. Of course, she's balancing the duck on her head, so Maho and the duck. And then we go back to talking about Aiai. So, this next thing that I want to share, I gotta say, sometimes I've got notes. I've got a script. All right, I've got a script here. Sometimes you come across a picture of your favorite SHIYOU that you didn't realize you needed to have until you saw it, and this is the case with this particular photo. And that photo in question is this. This is Horsehead Aiai. Not to be confused with Aiai and the head of a horse nearby, but Horsehead Aiai. Okay, and this was featured recently on an episode of Aiba Keba, where we had Kudo Haru as a guest. This was back on last month, 9/13. I woke up to this one, and it's Kudo Haru is the guest for that. She had fun, and basically, there she is with the Uma head, and those are actually little porcelain horses that they create and they make and they decorate. So basically, I believe I only caught the tail end of this because I had to get up and get ready for work. But this was a batsu game, so a punishment game, where the loser or the person who loses or gets a negative has to put on a horse head and do stuff with it. Both anime based on Ken Cole. Okay. Season 2, but with fewer episodes and focus on a different unit. Got hooked on Azure Lane because of Enterprise. Okay, so you guys have got my curiosity up. I'm gonna have to check out both Azure Lane and I remember watching Ken Cole, and if it's the one I'm thinking of, I got about halfway through and I got distracted with something else. But I was enjoying the character. I think one of the characters was learning how to be a battleship. If that's the one I'm thinking of, I'll have to go back and check it out. Maybe some web mobile deck building games. Okay, yeah. So I'll definitely check it out. And if they're getting a second season for Can Cole, I should probably catch up on everything and prepare for season 2 because of Enterprise. Okay, now I gotta find out what Enterprise is all about. I'm sure you're talking about the aircraft carrier, not necessarily the Star Trek starship, NCC-1701. So anyway, so that was a punishment game for Aiai, and because Aiai has a horse on her head, we should have Maho with a duck on her head. I mean, it only balances out, right? That's kind of the thing. Can Cole makes you doki. Oh, does it really? Okay. Well, all right. Doki Doki and Waku Waku, or Waku Waku then Doki Doki. But anyway, we'll figure it out. We'll have to see if it does make you Doki Doki. In the same way that a certain someone I'm not even gonna go there because you guys already know what I'm talking about. Okay, so this next segment is probably one of my favorite bits from these two, and of course the two we're talking about is Aiai and maho-nee. It's pretty much she loses in, well, sometimes she'll win. Sometimes, especially in the Keiba show, she'll win. But yeah, I've seen her lose a lot. The one that she loses a lot of that I've seen her play and that gets her screeches is that pirate game. You know, the one where you put the sword in the pirate barrel and the pirate pops up. Every single time I've seen that, she just screams. And speaking of screams, yokoso otaku. Yokoso otaku, howdy. So, yokoso to boku no bangumi. Hey guys, yokoso otaku is somebody that I met on Twitter who was at, I believe you were at SakuraCon, right? That you were saying. So that's the first time I followed you. Yokoso otaku, meet you, Stuka down, and Jay. Jay is somewhere in chat. Chat, say hello to Yokoso otaku. Tell us how you would like us to or just yo, because Yokoso otaku, right? So yo, say hi to you, Stuka, you and yo. I'm having fun here, and then Jay should be somewhere around here. Welcome to the show. Yeah, I know. I think I kept tweeting, and then you guys, we're doing this, and then I don't know if you heard while I was at SakuraCon, I ended up spending. I was there for about 12 hours. I think I told you guys, right? So let me recap this story. I went to SakuraCon back in April, which was the big anime convention, or the big anime convention here in the Pacific Northwest. I think since 1998 or something, like 2000. So it's a 3-day convention. I get there. I only had one day, Saturday, and I get there. And when I check in, I figure, I'm going to take in some panels. I'll do this. I'll check out the dealer's room, and then when I get the program, the thing that catches my eye was the karaoke open mic. So I spent, of the 12 hours I spent there, from 9 a.m. when I got there, about 9:30 a.m. to about 9 p.m., 9:30 when I left to catch the ferry back home. 10 of those hours was spent in the karaoke open mic lounge, and that's when I got the idea to start singing anime cover songs, so anime song covers. So anyway, you probably wouldn't have seen me after a certain amount of time because I was just stuck in that room. I think I sang three songs, maybe 4. I can't remember. I sang a couple songs, and then I just spent the entire day there. So I'm hoping next time maybe I'll go to all 3 days, right? Spend one of those days at the karaoke open mic and take in the rest of it with some panels and whatnot. So yo, I'm gonna call you yo. So it's yokoso otaku. So yo yo. So anytime you come to chat, you'll be yo. You'll see you, Stuka, and Jay. So that's what I did for there. So where was I? Okay, so this next little bit that I want to share. So if you guys remember, a while back I showed you a clip of it was the 2-character Cinderella that they had to do. So basically, ni moji, two kana that they had to use and tell the story of Cinderella. So they couldn't use a full sentence. They had to be 2 characters. So instead of ohayo, it'd be oha or something like that. So you had to something like the slipper, the shoe, kutsu, they could get away with. Your feet, ashi, right? But they couldn't say any more, and they had to get the story across in 2 characters, and they basically told the story. And if you guys are interested in that, I'll link to that little clip. I think I can just clip it. So this one is one of the other bits that I've seen them do. I've seen 4 different iterations, and I've got them in more or less chronological order here, from the earliest that I remember seeing all the way up to the most latest one, which I think was I want to say one of the Maho channel episodes. I think it was Maho channel 18 or 19 that I took the clip from, and there's an earlier one where they did a version of that. So this is Aiai and Maho and the American dog. Please enjoy.
ケチャップです。二人合わせてアメリカンドッグとかについてくるあれー、はい、どうもマスタードです。ケチャップです。二人合わせてアメリカンドッグとかについてくるあれーあ、これどうもマスタードです。ケチャップです。二人合わせてフランクフルトとかについてくるあれー今日は二人かな
I love that. Oh my god. Okay, let's see what's going on in chat, and I'll come back and address that. Oh, Dre works too, by the way. Oh, Dre. Okay, Dre. So, yo, Dre. So, Dre, you, Stuka, and Jay. There's usually other folks here in chat. They might just be coming late, or they might not be able to come this way. Yeah, that's one of my favorite little bits, is the American dog. So basically, the rough translation is, I'm ketchup, I'm mustard, together we make an American dog, which is their term for a corn dog. We make American dog. Interesting one, though, they don't use the word American dog at the very last one. They actually say, together we make a Frankfurter. Because it didn't sound like American dog, so I slowed down that little bit in the clip, and they're saying Frankfurter. So anyway, that's a little fun that they like to do, and so that is that does it for and that does it for the Ojo-sama segment. I have to end with that because you can't get any more classic than the two of them doing that. Which, of course, now takes us into our third segment for the evening. Welcome to Anime Time. All right, everybody, class is in session. All right, Kiritsu, Rei, Chakuseki. And yes, of course, I'm wearing my gear. I have the poppin'party T-shirt. I've got my lanyard with the badge, and of course, you can't forget. You always have to have. You can't forget this. You have to have the towel. The towel is most important. Poppipa forever. FTW. So, yeah. So anime time. Dre, a more fancy hot dog. Yeah, exactly. A more fancy hot dog. Something you don't expect. It's not covered in anything. It's just fancy dog. Fancy dog. Frankfurter. So anyway, so anime time. Let's get started. So first thing that I want to talk about, Eminence in Shadow, is one that I was looking at. It's on High Dive. So the premise is the main character Sid is a high schooler who makes up an imaginary Illuminati-like evil organization to secretly fight against. And then one day, he meets Truck-kun. We all know Truck-kun, right? Truck-kun kills you. And then, of course, and so he's isekai'd into another world, where it turns out the organization that he made up actually exists, and he's really fighting them. And of course, he happens to be fighting them with a team of shapely female operatives. Of course, right? So it's basically Isekai Super Sentai meets harem action adventure is what I'm looking at. And I'm enjoying it. I like how things are playing out. I'm really curious to see. It looks like they're going to start using the team that he's assembled. And I bring this up because this popped up in my Twitter feed. So right now they've got 4 episodes, probably 5 by now, or 4 episodes. So this was a great episode on the character building front and should be more than enough to tide us over as we kick into action climax mode next episode. I completely disagree. the operative word here should be more than enough to tide us over. It's not I want more. It's one of those where it ends on that climax where you're like, why did you end there? How dare you? Just throw another one in my face. And so that's one of the things that I dislike doing when the new seasons come out. I wanna watch the show, and I get sucked into watching the show and forget, it's still dropping one episode a week. Usually I try, if I'm able to wait 2, 3, maybe 4 episodes, and then binge those 4 at a point where there's one that's just coming out, so I can say, okay, there's a new one coming out, I can watch it tomorrow or something, or watch all thing. But it's whenever I get sucked into one and realize, oh crap, I have to wait an entire week before the next episode comes out, and then they always end in a really tense cliffhanger where it's like, why did you end there, you bastards? So in terms of that, that won't tide me over, because I want the next episode yesterday, next 3 episodes yesterday, which it's not yet. So anyway, for me, I like Eminence in Shadow. It looks pretty cool. I'm hoping to see where they go with this. I will say that this recent episode is not for the squeamish. It gets a little, shall we say, slightly violent, and there's some scenes that might be disturbing to most. Again, it's up to you. I didn't mind it. It seemed to be fine. Kind of moved the story forward, and we got to see certain aspects of what happens to be going on. So you kind of get a glimpse of what it is this organization he might be fighting against. They're dropping clues as to what might be going on. So we'll see where they take the story from there. So let's see here. Chat. Oh, I didn't know it was. Yeah, it is isekai. Halfway. I've been. Check it out. And again, most of the stuff that I say here, as I've said before, is my take. Of course, it could be a hot take. It could be a warm take, lukewarm, tepid. But it is my take. Your mileage may vary, so grain of salt. You may disagree with something that I find. I may disagree with what other people find. But it's up to you. See what seems interesting, and then just take it and go from there. So yeah, isekai. I call it isekai Super Sentai meets harem action adventure. It's a little dark, but there are moments where it's not super dark, where I can only take one episode at a time. There are a couple shows that are like that, where it says, oh, just too much, I need a break. I'll watch that, and then I'll watch 3 episodes, or like half a season of Gate or Love Live before I go to the next one. D-Side Traumery is like that. I'm still in the middle of watching it. I'm about 3 episodes in, and it's hardcore. So I have to temper it with a rewatch of season 3 of Bang Dream for the nth time, or season 2, or season 1, or just all 3 seasons, and then a couple of the lives, the Budokan Miracle Party live, of course. But anyway, that aside, let's get to the next one. Licorice Recoil. I enjoyed this. This was a lot of fun. Aside from a couple of the things that I pointed out last episode, having to do with what not to do with silencers, because they don't work like that. My only gripe with this particular one, and I finished it. I liked what they did. My one gripe has to do with the scene that takes place. I think it's in the last episode. There's a fight scene, a gunfight scene between Chisato and Majima, the bad guy. Chisato uses, I guess, the licorice girls have backpacks that apparently are shielded, so they're bullet resistant. So apparently she can use that to protect herself from gunshots. So she holds it up as Majima shoots her. I think it's like 3 shots, and then the thing that I didn't really like and basically made me say, what? Is the next shot knocks her down. No. That's not how that works. I get that you're probably trying to do it for dramatic purposes. That's not how that works, because Majima should also get knocked down. Why did it stop 3 and not the 4th? Yeah, it doesn't work that way. So you sort of lost me for there, but I kind of said, okay, you're trying to do something. I get what you're trying to do, but ordinarily I would turn you off at that point. But I let it go because I wanted to see how the rest of the episode and the show played out. I really like the dynamics between the main characters in Liko Rico, the cafe. So we're talking Chisato, Takina, Kurumi, our miniature hacker. They really didn't have to make her miniature, but I guess they were going for she's sort of lolly, but not really. You know, she's short. She fits in a suitcase, because that's how they meet her. She's in a suitcase, a bulletproof suitcase, bullet-resistant suitcase, because that's where they find her. But anyway, so she's short enough to fit in a suit. It's one of those, travel suitcases with the wheels, and apparently she can fit in there. Anyway, I like her character. She's kind of fun. Mizuki, the older, the One-chan, the One-san character, who's not so much of an One-san, which reminds me of what's her name in I'll get to it later. But anyway, I like her. And then of course Mika, their sensei, their teacher, the big black guy. I like just the dynamic between all three of them. There's some banter, there's some nice interplay between their characters, and they work. And when you get to the end of the episode, it's almost like it reminds me of what happens at the end of Princess Principal, because they're removed now from the setting of the story. They're elsewhere, still doing what they're doing, and then the vibe that they give off is sort of like they suddenly turn into the A-Team. At least for me. I won't give any more away from that, but they've got that, they've got the banter between the four characters, and then it sounds like something you'd see on the A-Team. Just back and forth, and then, they're trying to do the job, they get hired for the job, and there's banter going back and forth. It's really fun. I enjoyed it. I like that. Overall, I thought the art is gorgeous, for one. Well placed, and it's the kind of pacing that I like, where they just drip a little bit of backstory in the episode, enough to get you interested and then hooked, and then you're asking the kind of like, you're asking, oh, why did that happen? Oh, you're telling me, oh, there's more, and then there's enough for you to go, oh, and what happens next? And then you're in the next episode, and then you're in the next episode. I like that kind of pacing, and they're not giving everything all at once in like the blah exposition, which I don't really care for. Yes, more Kurumi and Mizuki, please. It should have season, I think, probably. Oh yes, Stuka, you said you were still watching that. Yes, Dre, Yo, finish Licorice. It's really good. They do a really good job. Yes, I'm kind of missing Chisato and Takina. Yeah, Liko Rico is always a cliffhanger. Yeah, I'm also interested. I think there is a movie for Princess Principal, unless there's a movie following the movie that I know about. Which I still need to watch. You says it should have a season 2. You're probably talking about Liko Rico. There are still missing info or stories that they can still share. I think probably. I mean, I'm not going to give it away, but what you think happens at the end doesn't. I'll leave it at that without giving too much away. So definitely there is a story that can be seen afterwards, because how it ends, maybe what they tried to do, and I'm going to try not to give anything away, but what they tried to do may have only convinced not as many people as they thought it would have, if you know what I'm talking about. So maybe there are other people who are going to say, hey, wait a second, are we sure we saw what we think we saw? Is there something more? Maybe there's more skullduggery behind the scenes that we're not aware of. So yeah, definitely. It would probably be, I would probably have to put it. It's very close on going onto my rewatch list, and there's very few that are on that list. So it may. I think it has a definite chance of making it onto that list. That is okay. And as far as the blah exposition, I think recently I was talking to Stuka and Jay. This will be a disclaimer. They happen to live near me, so I've seen them in real life. I know who they are. I think we were talking recently about Black Lagoon, which, and I've said this before, Black Lagoon is one of those that I really wanted to watch. I like the idea of Revy as a twin pistol wielding character. I could not get more than 3 episodes. I think I managed 2, maybe 3. I don't think I finished episode 3 of the anime, and I've watched it 3 times already. Just trying to. Okay, I thought maybe originally it was I was tired or something and just couldn't get through it, and it's happened before. I tried watching something when I was too exhausted, and then tried it again, and got through the show. So I did it the first time. The second time I tried, couldn't get into it. Tried it the third time. This was maybe a few weeks ago. It still could not. And I know there are people out there who gush about Black Lagoon for the storylines, for the character, for Revy. I think for me, and I was talking to Stuka about this. I was telling him that very first episode where the scene in the boardroom, where they basically give you, this is everything about the world, boom, in one big exposition. I did not like that approach. Stuka says, well, now that you know who the players are, here's everything. But why not drop it in little bits? Give us, I think it would be and again, this is just me, your mileage may vary. This is just me. I would have much preferred being dribbled for, can I use that? So you sort of drop little hints here of, ooh, what's this? Something about this. Why? Well, we'll find out later on, and you get little bits to keep you, it's sort of like giving you crumbs along the way. So you get one, and then there's another one, you pick that one up, and it leads you to the witch's house. You eat, and you end up in a cottage made of candy inside an oven, and you're cooked by a witch who's trying to fatten you up. And then you have to cry for Hansel and Gretel witch hunters. No, but you know what I mean. I just want little pieces, and then you find out the story later on, which is basically what they did in Licorice Recoil. They drop you little bits. They don't tell you everything right off the bat, so you're going, wait, what's going on? Oh, you find out in the next episode. Oh, you find out more, and then more. But anyway, that's my preference. Other people seem to like. It was open-ended, yes. Thinking of rewatching it too. I tried the episode 1, but I can't get hooked and stopped around 10 minutes, but wanted to try to watch it again too. Yeah, I think the first time I stopped after the first episode. The second time I got to the third episode, but it just wasn't gelling for me, and then something kept nagging in the back of my mind, and I never finished episode 3 of Black Lagoon. And then I tried it again recently, and that boardroom scene in the beginning just said, "Okay, I'm no more. I'm kind of done with that. I don't know if I'll get it back again." The other thing that I was thinking of is maybe it's not as prevalent, that sort of blah exposition, not blah, like blah. I'm just gonna explode with exposition. Maybe it's not present in the manga, so. If I get a chance, I might pick up the first volume and see how that goes. Maybe I'm more leaning toward the manga than actually the adaptation in anime. So we'll see what happens. All right, next show that I want to talk about. I've got a few here. Next show, Teppen. Teppen is the anime about. I think it's five or 7. It's basically Bandori, but with a team of. Trios of comedians, female comedians, who are trying to vie for the coveted Teppen Award at a comedy festival in Japan. So who's the best trio comedy team. It's based on a manga published in Gekkan Bushiroad, Monthly Bushiroad, written by or inspired by Team Y, of course, since the main characters are Aimi, Mikoron, and Ayasa, and then of course we got a bunch of other folks in there as other characters. Lots of Bandori. There's Bandori and Bandori-related people. Momoyo is in it. Aiai, of course. Aiai is in it. A bunch of other people play some characters. Megu Ako is in it. She's another character. They're all a lot of fun. The biggest thing that I was seeing online about this show was that it's Japanese humor, and unfortunately for people watching, Japanese humor doesn't translate. And I can kind of see that there are instances where, because of language, because of culture, it is possible that, like for instance, American humor might not translate well to another country that doesn't have similar type of humor, if you know what I mean. And I think this kind of exists with Teppen. There are things that happen and that are talked about in there that if you're not aware of culturally, with regard to Japan, it's going to be completely over your head. And watching it, I got the feeling that there were some things that they were talking about that I didn't get, mainly because maybe I didn't grow up in Japan and have the same kind of cultural signposts that they have. But what I was able to get out of it was a kind of theater of the absurd. It got me. There were a lot of puns that they were using, and knowing some of the words, knowing some Japanese vocabulary, as I've been trying to teach myself Japanese, as you guys know, hearing some of the vocabulary, and I recognize some of these words being used in the sense in a way of a pun, and how some puns can work that way. So I was enjoying that aspect, the wordplay aspect, and I was thinking, and I've got one episode left to watch, and I'm enjoying all of it, of course. So I've got one more episode, which is the final countdown. Ba-na-na-na. You knew that was coming, right? The final episode of Teppen. So what it got to me was, even from the very first episode, was the sense of the absurd. It's like all these goofy situations that these girls find themselves in, and how they react is just completely off the wall. It's like they overreact to everything, and that seems to make it funny, at least to me. I mean, it's not the reaction you would think one would do. They just completely turn it on its head, and what it made me think of was, what if the Japanese gave their interpretation of what Monty Python would be in Japan? So take British Monty Python, right? Life of Brian, Flying Circus, all that. Give it a Japanese flavor, totally Japanese, and what would Japan's answer to Monty Python be? And that's kind of what I was getting out of what I saw of Teppen. So I kind of enjoy that. I like that sort of weird humor kind of thing. It's not your everyday slapstick. There's some slapstick, but there's some of the wordplay and reactions to situations that just are just completely absurd that I like it. So for instance, maybe you're not, maybe it's not for you, but there is one of the episodes in which the girls decide to do a version of Cinderella, but when they put the show together, the costumes end up being leftovers from a Super Sentai show. So Cinderella ends up being basically a kaiju looking for the prince, who's dressed up as kind of like one of your standard red superhero. So whatever, Kamen Rider Red, right? So he ends up, and it's Aimi, of course. So that ends up being the prince, and then there's some fights in the middle. So it's basically like Super Sentai meets Cinderella. So anyway, that's not something you would normally see. It works for that story. I enjoyed it. There's that touch of the absurd. So yeah, maybe comedy doesn't quite translate from one language to another, but there was enough in here that I'm enjoying it. And like I said, again, your mileage may not be for you, and you might just say, I don't get it. That's fine. You're free to do so. Okay, next one, My Isekai Life. This one I enjoy. Yeah, another isekai. This one I liked. So in this one, Yuji is a businessman who dies, gets isekai'd, and turns out to be a monster tamer who's basically maxed out. He's totally OP. Wanders around taking missions. He's got a set of companions. One of them is a dire wolf, super huge wolf, who likes to fight and eat meat. And then he's got a team of slime. There's like 6 or 7 of these slimes. One of them has a scar. One of them has an eye patch. One of them sounds like he's a pirate. One of them is like a little kid. And the slimes are headed by the primary slime is of course voiced by Tonopi, Hikaru Tono from Hibiki. The slimes are cute. They like to do battle. Yuji is able to use them to transfer spells, so he can get a bunch of slime together, form a circle, and then basically channel fireball through them. So you've got these 5, a team of 5 slimes just hitting you with fireball from 5 different directions. It's really cool. I like it. It's a lot of fun. Yes, he is kind of OP, but you get the sense, at least I did, you get the sense there's one episode where maybe he's OP only to a certain point, and maybe he's not completely OP, because there's a sequence, a 2 or 3 episode sequence, almost 2-3 episode sequence, where he fights a kaiju. Kaiju comes out of a volcano. It's basically Godzilla about to take down the town, so he fights them, and there's a point where you think, I think the kaiju might be stronger than you are, and you're going to lose, and you're going to get your ass handed to you. He manages not to get his ass handed to him, but there was a point where, is he gonna get killed? Is this gonna be one where he dies, he's isekai'd, and he's gonna get killed and maybe isekai'd again? But doesn't happen. It turns out for the best. It's really fun. I'm enjoying it. So yeah, there was a point where maybe he's gonna get taken out, and he's not as OP as he let on to be. Why does isekai genre anime always have intro of person dying then being isekai'd? That's a good question. I've got to say, not all of them die. For example, Gate is an isekai, but they travel through a gate to the other world, so they go back and forth. And that's another one. If you haven't seen Gate yet, it's a lot of fun. It's so much fun. Rory Mercury is my favorite character, and of course, our main character is a hoot. All he wants to do is just go to basically Comiket, and then Comiket is canceled because invaders from a fantasy world come through a portal and attack downtown Tokyo. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. Check it out. So in that one, he doesn't die. But I know most of the other ones, it's usually Truck-kun is the instigator. Sometimes they die. Sometimes they die because they're sick, and they die, and then they end up isekai'd. Sometimes they die because they're hooked up to a virtual reality game, and the game kills them, or they die, or they can't get out of the game. Yes, I'm looking at you, Sword Art Online. Or some version thereof. So as to why it does, that's a good question. I don't know. I can probably hazard a guess. Maybe it's a way to leave the world that they're coming from. Maybe they die as a shift to the new world. I mean, they don't really always have to do that. For instance, Bofuri is an isekai, but she's not dead. She just goes into the game and then we see all the events happening in the game world, which is getting a second season, Bofuri, which I think is, it's either later, I think it's next year. Bofuri is fun. Go check out Bofuri. Maple is awesome. Maple is awesome. Maple is my favorite. That's on my rewatch list, and I've rewatched it twice just because Maple is awesome. And everybody, all hail Maple. Yeah, or overwork. That's right. They die because they're over. There was one I just was watching recently. So he dies from overwork, and basically he's so overworked that he falls down the stairs and then dies and gets isekai'd. And I can't remember which one. It's a recent one that I was just watching. But anyway, so that's one. Truck-kun or overwork, or they get sucked into a computer game is another one. But yeah, so Bofuri, Maple. No, Maple is the main character. Kaede. It means maple. Was Maple the turtle? Anyway, wait a second. Did I completely mess up that? I'm gonna look it up right now. Bofuri. Characters. Characters. Oops, that's not what I want. Characters. Maple tree. Maple. Kaede Honjo. Kaede means maple tree, or means maple. Actually, Kaede Ki is the name of their guild, so it means maple tree. No, the turtle is syrup. The turtle is syrup. Yeah, maple equals Kaede. Yeah, maple equals Kaede. Yes, that's right. So her name in the real world is Kaede. Yeah, the turtle was syrup, which I like. I mean, they were just so much fun. I mean, she's so freaking overpowered, but she's so happy, and especially when she turns into that angel, and casts a spell where everybody around her can't get hurt, and nobody can get through. It's so yeah, syrup. It's one of my favorites, and that's another one that's made it honestly onto my rewatch list. So yeah, they were related names. So yeah, Maple, Kaede means maple, and Kaede Ki is maple tree, the name of their guild, which I think is so cute. Yeah, so if you haven't watched Bofuri, go check it out. It's a lot of fun. But anyway, so that's one where it's technically, I guess you could call it an isekai, but she doesn't die. She just goes into the computer game, and all the adventures that we see is in-game adventures. And then like there were a couple episodes where I think she spends an entire day, or like she spends overnight, or she stays up too late playing the game, and then she can't stay awake in school, and her friend is saying, "Oh, you got to make sure that you can sleep." So I think there was one point where she falls asleep in class, and when she wakes up, she's talking about the game and gets embarrassed, as you do when you wake up and you say, "No, I area of effect spell." No, I'm not. No, they're asking you figure out this algebra equation. Oh, I'm sorry, I was trying to put an area debuff on some characters, and it didn't quite work. So anyway, so that's an isekai where nobody dies. They just go into a computer game, and I think I suppose you can call it isekai too, right? Gun Gale, which is the side story for SAO. That takes place in another world. They're not dead, because I think there's a couple of instances where you see them in real life. So in GGO, she's tiny. In real life, she's like 6 feet tall or something like that. Great show. Check it out if you haven't yet. I think weren't you? I seem to remember that on Twitter you were in the middle of watching all of the SAO from beginning to all the movies and side stories and everything associated with it, right? That was you. No pun intended. But I haven't watched a lot of. I've only seen the original show. I haven't seen all the other, except for Gun Gale, which I enjoyed. I enjoyed a lot, and I think that's slowly getting on my rewatch list. I've watched it twice, all the way through, and I like the fact that she's pink, she's tiny, and she's got a P90. Maybe it's just me. Yeah. But GGO was fun. I liked it. It's related to that, but it's its own thing altogether. So I don't know, at least not memory. I can't quite tell if it mentions anything related to SAO, or if it's its own world within sort of a side story related to Sword Art Online. But anyway, it's a good one. So definitely add that to your list. So okay, so my isekai life we were talking about that. Oh yeah, I totally enjoyed it. Speaking of, I forgot to mention this. This is also Bandori related. I forgot to mention this earlier. Speaking of SAO, so coming out soon. It's in rehearsals right now. There is a live stage show of SAO that's coming out. One of the actresses who will be playing Asuna is Sukui Minami, who, if you watch the Review Starlight Live 2, she plays Suzu from Seiren. So she will be playing Asuna with a wig. I just saw footage of her in rehearsal. She kicks ass. She's kick butt. And I think it's supposed to be, I don't know if there's a musical component to that, but she's going to be playing Asuna. I don't know the details. I don't know where that particular storyline, if they're retelling the story from the anime in stage form, something. I'll have to figure out some more. Yeah, it's going to be live. So there might be some related to Kirito. I can't remember quite. Yes. Yeah, for real. SAO Live. And I think what they're doing is, if I remember right, is that the original SHIYOU will be providing the voices, and then they've got other actors playing live. So I think you'll hear a combination of the original SHIYOU speaking the characters' lines for it, but they've got another set of actors playing Kirito and Asuna and everybody else in there. I'm not sure exactly how that's going to pan out. That seems a little weird, but it's like one of those. It's anyway. It sounds interesting. It's going to be live. I don't know when it's supposed to be, but it's in rehearsals right now, from what I understand. And when I get on Twitter, I will forward I bookmark the little bit that I saw from Minami-san during rehearsal. So I'll send that out to you. It sounds kind of cool. Really. But then again, I'm all about some of the live shows, as I mentioned earlier. Review Starlight Transition number 2. Okay, so my isekai life. The next one that I want to talk about is Spy Family. I realize season 2 just came out, which I thought was really cool that they ended season 1 beginning of summer, and suddenly it's October, season 2 is out, as opposed to waiting an entire year for, usually waiting almost a year plus before the next season. So they were pretty fast, which maybe something tells me that they were planning on it, that they had all the episodes, they just sort of released them and gave themselves time to maybe finish the second set of episodes. So I enjoyed the first season. A lot of fun. Anya is the cutest. She's darling, and I love the dynamic between Yor and Lloyd. Lloyd strikes me as somebody who can be a little obtuse at times, and yet he's so what's the word I'm looking for? He's very. Is it adamant? Is that the word I want? He's very. Honestly, I can't think of the word right now, but he's so he's a go-getter, you know. I'm putting it off for no good reason. Yes, Dre, you need to see Spy Family. It's a lot of fun. So yeah, you gotta start the manga, but stop too. Yeah, check it out. It's a lot of fun. You've got an entire season to go through, 12 episodes. If you don't binge all in one weekend, you should. You know, you can do 2 episodes at a time. At least it's there. You don't have to wait an entire week, like I'm doing with Eminence in Shadow. No, I'm just kidding. Yes, Waku Waku. Anya is just the cutest. Her expressions and just how she comes across on screen, it's cuteness everywhere. So I'm enjoying. I enjoyed the first season. I have not yet watched season 2, and because I know that if I start watching now, I'm gonna watch all the episodes, and then I'll find myself in, like I usually do, waiting an entire week and just kind of chomping at the bit, going, is it there yet? Is it there yet? I did the same thing for. Luckily I caught myself with first season. I waited for at least 4 episodes to drop. Watched the first 3. By the time I got to episode 4, there was another one waiting for me. So I kind of dribbled it in a little bit. I made sure to do the same thing with my dress up darling, Bisque doll. I did that too, just because I enjoyed what I saw the first couple episodes, and kind of did that, and then I think with Licorice Recoil, I saw the first episode and it's like, oh, and then waited for the second and kept forgetting that I was going to wait until, so I had to. That was another one I waited, and then of course by the time episode 4 hit, I said, okay, I'm gonna stop, turn on to something else, and then waited for more episodes to drop. So by this time now, all the episodes have dropped, so I went back. Thankfully, it was really hard because I really wanted to see what was going on. There was so much that was happening that was like, should I watch now? No, I can wait. But anyway, that's done now. So Spy Family, I'm gonna wait until. So right now they're on it's probably episode 17 now, which means 5 episodes have dropped for season 2. I'm gonna wait for 18 to drop and then slowly watch them to get to. So hopefully by that point I'm not going to totally binge all of them, but knowing me, I'm probably going to go watch 2. One more. I'll just watch one. Maybe I'll take a look at the 5 minutes of the next episode and then just get it. It'll happen again. You know what's going to happen. You've probably done this before. I think I need to binge the season 1, but I might wait till season 2 completed. I might do the same thing. I'll wait till there's only a couple episodes left of season 2, and then go back, rewatch season 1, and kind of it's and because I think the way Crunchyroll has it, it's not a separate section for season 2. They go from episode 12 to 13, 14, and so on. So I might just do that, and in the meantime, catch up on some other shows that I've been trying to watch and finish up. Lord Marksman and Vanidus, I'm looking at you. Stuka, which I'm in the middle of right now, and I'm enjoying. I love the intrigue. I told you some of the things that I didn't quite care about it, but I do like the characters. So Spy Family is on hold until one more episode drops, and then slowly watch that. So let's see here. Okay, so the next one that I want to talk about, Urusei Yatsura. A reboot of the show from the 80s, Takahashi Rumiko's classic tale of alien invasion, and probably one of the earliest harem stories that came out, unless there's something that I'm missing, but I'm pretty sure this is one of the earliest, and this was before Ranma, which is kind of another harem, sort of, or just one where there's a whole bunch of goofy oddball characters, especially Mr. Kendo guy, the school kendo champion who's trying to win the heart of it's a Kane, right? Just his entrances are hilarious. So anyway, Urusei Yatsura, in order to stop the threat of alien invasion, our hero, who happens to be kind of a ladies' man, or fancies himself a ladies' man, has to play a game of tag with the alien princess. And if he wins, they leave. He loses, she becomes his wife. He becomes her husband. I need to be good luck in watching it slow. Yeah, I know. Just finish it already. Blue Thunder. That's right, Blue Thunder. Oh my god. Speaking of which, I think I'm pretty sure all of Ranma is on Funimation or has now transferred over to Crunchyroll. And I remember starting to rewatch it because I had seen it way back, and I think they have the entire library of episodes. At the time I saw, okay, so way back in the past, the time I first saw Ranma 1/2 was in college. This would be about, I'm going to say 1992-93. I just found videotapes of the first 6 episodes at it was at a video rental place down the street from where I was living. So I'd gone there, and they had an anime section. They had stuff like Guyver, Blue Submarine. They had Fist of the North Star. All the good classic ones. And they happened to have Ranma 1/2, and they had like a couple of, and I think this was way back. It must I want to say it was either Animego or US Manga Corps. It was one of those groups that had done the subtitles for it way, and we're talking video VHS, right? VHS tapes. They had 2 episodes per tape, and they had like 3, so 6 episodes over 3 tapes. And I remember renting them and watching them at my place, and just enjoying the theme song. Yapapa, yapapa, isha. Anyway, speaking of which, I will cover that coming up soon, so watch for that on my other section of the channel. But I digress. So I watched it way back, and I only saw 6 episodes, and I think there's probably more than 6 at least. Probably 26 or so, at least 2 seasons worth, maybe 3. So there's more characters that I have not yet seen. And I remember laughing my ass off watching the original. So now that everything is on Funimation / Crunchy, so Funny Roll or Crunchymation, whatever you want to call it now, I get the chance to watch all of it. So I will use that while I'm waiting for these other shows to drop. I'm in the middle of watching Pat Labor, the TV series, Sakura Wars, the TV series, and I think there's the updated TV series on Funimation that I'm going to watch. So I'm in the middle of watching those now. So I'm pretty. I think I'll be pretty busy watching those while waiting for some of these other shows to drop. So one of the other ones that I'm also going to wait for a few episodes to drop would be the reboot of Urusei Yatsura. So I'm looking to see how they treat it. From what I was able to find online in terms of what they were doing, I think they just updated it in terms of setting. I haven't heard too much of that they've altered the story. I think it's the same story, just sort of updated to modern day setting. Jeez, I want to see that. The Risings of the High School Kendo. That's right. I love. Do you really? Yo, you've got the V. Oh my God. Oh, that brings back. Cause yeah, Oh, can you still play VHS somewhere? Do you have one of those? Back when I had that, I would watch it in my room because I had one of those combo TV VCRs, where if the VCR dies, you're just left with the TV. But yeah, I remember watching those on that. That was my TV. It was like a little 14-inch TV, and then it had a VCR unit underneath it. So I would. It worked great. I just used it to watch. I had videotapes of anime, so I would watch it on there. Tiny screen, but it worked for me. Yeah, Ranma 1/2 is just so much fun. Great stories, great characters. Mad, sort of totally. I mean, a lot of slapstick humor, but just so much fun, and just it's one of those where you're like, oh God, again, anything goes. The Sao Tome Anything Goes School of Martial Arts. because that's the kind of school that you need. Forget firebending. You just want anything goes, right? Anything goes martial arts. So yeah, I'm gonna wait for Urusei Yatsura to drop a few more episodes, and then we'll go ahead and watch. So before I get to the next one, the next one I'm going to talk about. So, incidentally, I was rewatching season 3, episode 11. Perio no longer exists, and I love the scene. I gotta say, I love the scene where Choo-Choo finds the girls who've been bullying Perio and just basically knocks the shit out of them. Right? Knocks one out, gets in a fight with the other one, and no, that's wrong. That's not what happens in. Sorry, it's a joke. That's not what happens in season 3, episode 11. It's no. This is what happens in the latest episode of Gundam Witch from Mercury. And one of the characters happens to be named, or her nickname is Choo-Choo. I made the connect. Remember the lesson. Everything is Bandori-related, and that's how my brain's gonna work. So anyway, Gundam Witch of Mercury. I'm liking this, with including the prologue, which is sort of like the precursor to the first episode, and then I think 4 episodes are out right now, maybe 5. So 5, maybe 6 episodes are currently out. I went ahead and just started watching, and I've been waiting for 2 to drop at a time, and then I watch those, and then wait for 2 and watch those. And so far, I think I'm gonna wait for a few more to drop before going back 1 episode and then kind of catching back up. I'm liking what they're doing with this. I realize, yeah, prologue was. Right, didn't you like Choo-Choo? She just comes up and goes, wham! One of them goes down, the other one's like, hey, what are you doing? They get in a fight, they're duking it out, and then the next thing you know, she just turns and goes, wham! And she goes down. And there's Choo-Choo. I'm surprised she's not sitting there, nursing bruised knuckles or anything like that. But yeah, different Choo-Choo. Yeah, prologue was really good. I enjoyed the sort of what came before. And then now I want to see how they tie all that together with what the main character was in that beginning. Suletta Mercury. So yes, there's a lot of mecha stuff. I mean, there's the mecha battles that we're seeing. We see a lot of the mecha. They're basically in a school for Gundam or mecha pilots. This training academy, not necessarily Gundam, but the mobile suit pilots. But a lot of the story focuses basically on the interactions between the students, what's going on there, and in particular, Suletta Mercury, who is our heroine, and her relationship with her classmate Miorin, and everything that happens between them. She's coming from a life where is very different from what she finds at school. School is very much class based in terms of like social class. So you got the people who are rich, well-to-do. It's like 90210 and then Degrassi High, right? So you got the 90210 people, and then you got the Degrassi kind of, the sort of lower rung, social rung. Mio Mio is just so I'm pissed. Mio Mio is just so sundari, and I'm patiently waiting for her to be more open. I think she's getting there. You can kind of see bits of it coming out. I think she's probably going to be that kind of character where she's not going to she's going to slowly open up, and we'll see the progress as the show continues. That would be my guess, because you're starting to slowly see it. It's almost like the same thing that happens to Takina and Chisato. Chisato is just so, not over the top, but, very, very much forward. And then Takina just gets kind of slowly starts to open up. So by the time you get to the final episode, they're like that. So really hard to knock her show. She's gonna get there. She's gonna get there, and I think Soletta is just that so much an open character in terms of how she treats people, that she'll make her way through. She'll finally get under Miorin's skin in a good way, right? So that would be that's my guess for the arc of those characters. Yeah, right. Takina is very much in Mio Mio, and then I guess you could say that. Sorry. Choo-Choo, is she gonna be like Kurumi? I don't know. Maybe can we make can we see if we can find parallels between Gundam and Licorice Recoil? Maybe, I don't know. Am I shaking? I've been shaking the table. Sorry guys. I didn't mean to do that. So yeah, I'm enjoying what's going on, but like I said, I'm probably gonna wait for a couple episodes to drop before getting to the next one. I'm enjoying the duel, the redo of the duel. That was just awesome. I mean, you can see that she knows what she's doing in her mobile suit. She's got the skills. She's not one that's going. I would hazard to guess that she's one of those OP characters that doesn't know she's OP until it comes out, and then when she opens the floodgates, and then boom, you're basically dead, or you just kissed your ass goodbye. But that's sort of what I get from her, that we haven't quite seen her full potential. The full potential is there, but she's not released it. She's not let herself go hog wild with her skills. Yeah, the Ghoul, whatever his name is, that last duel, you know he was gonna get his ass handed to him. Without spoiling too much, check it out if you guys want to check it out. This was, I mean, he got put in place twice for the. It's like, you should have learned the first time, dude. Just don't mess with her. But yeah, and I'm glad what Choo-Choo did in that scene. From the first episode, I've never been one, especially in any of the anime that I've seen. Bullying always pisses me off. Anytime there's any kind of bullying in a show, it always rubs me the wrong way. So I'm glad that we got to see both of the bullies in this particular one get their just desserts. They just basically got their face knocked in. So yes, go. Please show more of that. I get that they show us a little bit so we can build up empathy, but really what makes me go, no thank you. I'm gonna punch you across the face. I'm gonna punch you in the head. But anyway, if you're interested, check it out. I do recommend it. I know Stuka, you're not much of a mecha person. Full Metal Panic notwithstanding, check it out. If it doesn't work for you, there's always some other ones to check out. I'm gonna go back and check out Azure Lane and Cancol, or finish off Cancol. So for anybody else who's interested, Witch of Mercury definitely on a must watch. I would say must watch. So two things that I want to cover before it gets too much to it. So it's already after 10 o'clock. We just got a few more guys. Bear with me. Chainsaw Man, I realize, just opened recently, and I've been hearing so much about this one that it's the anime of the winter, of the fall season, like SAO was the anime of the summer season from a few years back. Every year, that's a joke that Vic, if you guys remember Vic, who comes here sometimes, I think that was his favorite show, and that was a joke that he had. Anything was always the anime of the summer, usually a reference to SAO. Anyway, yeah, so Chainsaw Man. I've been hearing so much about it. I think it's not for me. I tried it out. I couldn't get into it. It wasn't so much the over the top violence. There is that. I don't mind anything like that. It just wasn't. It wasn't hitting it for me. So I'm probably, and I know there are other people going, "Oh my God, why not? The Chainsaw Man is the ultimate." I'm gonna have to pass on this one. I'm probably one of the few who's not going to be there. It's not for me. If you like it, great. Not too I mean, it's very very graphic, but something about it just it doesn't ring with me, if you know what I mean. It is very graphic. I have nothing against it. It serves whatever story it is. Yeah, exactly. It's not for everyone. Apparently, this one isn't for me. Thinking of reading the manga before watching the anime. I watched episode 1 to see the graphic and violent stuff. I guess I can watch it. Graphic violence doesn't really bother me in anything. I think sometimes there's some movies where if that's all it is and there's no story behind it, it's just it's graphic violence just for graphic violence sake, that sort of thing. What do they call it? They call it violence porn or splatter porn, whatever. Not for me, not my thing. It's in a way it's tastefully done for what it is, so it's enough gore to get that it's that type of anime. I mean, because if you really want graphic violence, I mean, classic anime, Fist of the North Star, right? You punch somebody, they explode. You punch them in the head, it caves in, boom. That's it. That was Ken. That was Hokuto no Ken. I had no problem with that. I enjoyed it. That was a lot of fun. Again, back to if it's too gratuitous, and there's no story behind it, that I could care less. It's for some people. But something like I said, Fist of the North Star, Hokuto no Ken. People exploding, blood splatter everywhere. It never bothered me. That was fun, and it was its own thing. Again, I go back to my not to brag about my pedigree, but that's where I was coming. That's the anime that I grew up with. More that was high school. I saw that in high school. I was like, oh wow, it's graphic. I like it. I enjoyed the storyline. Again, it's meant not for everybody. Something about this one just didn't take to me. I might have to pass. Maybe it's just not nothing. Oh, yes, it's one of those Fist of the North Star. Ken, I think, wasn't it? A couple of you guys, I know Stuka and Jay were here for that one. I can't remember who else it was. I think it was during the AMA episode that we had. Who would be your anime rock band? And I think we had one with Char as the lead guitar. Kenshiro, from Hokuto no Ken, was the lead singer. I think we had Belle Dandy as the drummer or keyboardist. Maybe she was the keyboardist. Who did we have as drummer? I can't remember. I'll have to go back and because I didn't write anything down, but I remember the Red Comet. Char was one of the guitarist. I think he was he the bassist? Maybe he was rhythm or lead guitar or something like that. And I remember Belle Dandy was either drummer or no, it was Akane. Akane Tendo was the drummer, and Belle Dandy was our keyboardist. So that was the anime rock band of the century. How about that? Kenshiro, Char Aznable, Akane Tendo, Belle Dandy. That's 4. Did we have 5? I can't remember if there was a 5th one. But anyway, that was another show. If you guys are interested in that one, I'll go back, find out where it was in that episode, and I'll link it in the comments box below. So anything goes, Skolo drums, right? So anyway, Chainsaw Man probably not for me. So I'm gonna have to pass. on that one. The other one that I want to talk about, and I've mentioned this before. Yes, oh my god, it's Belldandy. She's awesome. She's cool. I like her. Yes, Belldandy is cool. And I have to thank Stuka down for showing me all the other, because I've only seen one episode of the OVA, and then Stuka introduced me to the rest of them. So those were fun. I really love his senpais. Those guys are just crazy tech gearheads, right? Motorcycles. Anyway, good show. I like that. And I think they're supposed to be. I think you're supposed to show me the series, right? Because we saw this. There were 6 of them, 6 OVAs, and then there's a TV show, right? If I remember correctly. So I'm looking forward to checking those out. And then, by the same token, you guys still need to finish season 1 of Bang Dream, because we left on episode 9 of that one. So there's still more to go. It's on High Dive, or if you want, and Love Hina, my child. Love Hina. Why does that sound from? I don't know that I've seen Love Hina. Okay, see, I'm writing down Love Hina. That sounds so familiar. I've got Love Hina. I still have to finish watching the rest of Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumi. The one with the Hare Hare dance at the end. I think I'm about 6 episodes in, and then I got distracted with something else. I think I went to go find if they had Scrapped Princess, but which they do on Funimation, but it's not in Japanese. It's in English dub only. And so I was a little slightly disappointed because I wanted to watch it in Japanese. But anyway, I'll have to put Love Hina down because I think I've heard that one, and I don't know if it's on my watch list. So yeah, whenever Stuka you're ready for the anime, the TV show, let me know when that'll be, and then I'll be there for more Belldandy and friends. I watched the movie of Melancholy. Haha, I don't know where there was a series back then, but maybe. But the story is interesting. I didn't realize there was a movie. I was watching the anime. I think it's like 12 or 13 episodes, something like that. So there must have been a movie. Maybe it's an OVA after or spliced together. I'm not sure. It's like a boy who works at a bathhouse. It's a good show, I think, and manga too. Bell and Friends. I'll also show you Love Hina. Oh, you have Love Hina. Okay. I was going to just try and find it on either High Dive Funny or Crunchyroll. I'll get a head start, but, whenever you're ready, yes, let me know. That sounds like it's fun. I'm sorry I didn't get into... what is that? The one with the stairs. The goddamn stairs. I'm sorry. That could not... Revolutionary Girl. No, I'm sorry. It looks interesting, but when you got to that part, I was like, no, thank you. I'm done. I think OVA after or maybe in between. Okay, I'll have to check it out. But I know I was right in the middle of Melancholy, and it was interesting. I was enjoying what was going on. I might have to go back and watch it. Yes, I shake my fist at the spiral staircase also. And the choir. There was a choir, right? Singing as she goes up the... For the love of all that's holy. Anyway, so where was I? I had one more I wanted to talk about. Oh, yes. So this is one I've talked about before, and like Chainsaw Man, this is one that's everybody. I had friends who watched it. They not, I wouldn't say they lived it, but they were big fans of it. They had, at the time, they had laser discs of this entire show. It's like one of the biggest most iconic, late 2000s, iconic anime of the 2000s, of the aughts, right? And of course, I'm talking about Neon Genesis Evangelion. When I finally got a chance to watch it, it was the redub that was on that they put out on what is it, Netflix, right? I didn't watch the actual dub. I always watch subtitled. It's my preference. So watch the subtitle. My God, Shinji is such a little crybaby that I was annoyed by the time I didn't even finish episode 2. I just got annoyed at his whining. It was cringy. It hurt my ears. I was like, is he going to do this the entire show? Was it 26 episodes or something? So right? I didn't even... So, I tried to watch Eva. I watched sub. I couldn't get into... By the time I got to second episode, he was still whining. I turned it off. I said, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. And the funny thing is, and for everything that's supposed to be, I heard is really good. I mean, the animation is awesome. I like the Eva. I like the angels. The whole thing. Just Shinji was such a friggin' right. I couldn't stand it. I stopped. I watched the first episode as much as I could, and then second episode, boom. Shinji cries at every. So I'm not touching that one anymore. Whether it's a spliced movie, because I know there's all this stuff. Now I have to say this is really odd, and I told Stuka and Jay about this before. But the first time I heard about Evangelion back in the early 2000s, after my best friend and his brother had seen it, and they just raved about it. That was their thing. I didn't get a chance to see it. They were home. I was in college, and so I picked up the first volume of the graphic novel, of the manga, for Evangelion, and I read through it and wanted to read more. Like, I wanted to see what happens next. For some reason, Shinji is not as whiny in the manga, and I don't know if there's some difference in how it's portrayed in the manga versus what we see animated. There might be some kind of disconnect, or there's something that you see in manga that doesn't transfer, or something having to do. I don't know. I don't understand why it's lauded as a seminal series. I think it has to do with just how it was portrayed when it came out. I mean, it's not your standard. Not that anything is at the time, or maybe up until then, it was not your standard mecha anime. Just the way it my guess would be the way it told the story. It was for what it was for that time. It was a seminal series. Nobody had seen anything like that before. So maybe they just saw that as that was. I could see it being that particular anime was iconic for them, and so they saw that as that was anime. That was like the pinnacle of anime. Because they told those robot stories, that particular mecha story, which kind of makes me think, well, this is just me. This is my take on the whole anime thing. How far back did you go? Kind of thing. Is it because there's other anime before that took care of robots? Gundam would probably be the quintessential giant robot anime, or robot anime, very serious robot anime. That was pioneer for its time, given that prior to that, we didn't deal with any of the consequences of war, and how that we just had giant robots fighting monsters from outer space. Getter Robo, Mazinger Z, all those guys. Dan Cougar, just the giant robots before that we're basically fighting, alien monsters, and then you get something like Gundam, and then followed by Macross, completely revolutionary story. So, your mileage may vary, but exactly how far back beyond Evangelion are you looking? Because they had other stuff prior to that. Yeah, adjacent to a lot of stuff I love, but it didn't mesh with me. I want to see the movies, though. I kind of like the movie I saw. Well, yeah, so maybe in movie version, Shinji is not as whiny. I don't know, but as I was saying, for whatever reason, maybe there's a different portrayal of him in the manga. I didn't get the feeling that he was that whiny. So when it came back into print, I picked myself up. This is a 3-volume set. It's the first 3 volumes of Evangelion, 1, 2, and 3. And I bought this one, and I have this one, and then 4, 5, and 6. So I have the first 6 sets. And I'll be reading this, and I just started rereading it too. And I'm not seeing super whiny Shinji in it, and I'm not that far in either. I mean, he's one of those where, what's going on? I don't get what, but I don't. Maybe I hear something else in my head that I don't hear that whininess that I heard in the anime. So I may end up just saying I like Evangelion the manga, not necessarily the anime itself. So I'm going to be reading this. I'm enjoying so far what I'm reading right now, and like I said, I'm about maybe a quarter into the manga. So I'm gonna finish that and see how that goes. It just might be that I'm enjoying that much more than the other ones. So Evangelion the anime, no. Evangelion the manga, yes. So what do we have? What's going on in chat? I kind of like. He was weak, maybe realistic, really, but it doesn't mean I had to like it. I'll have to check out the manga then, I think. I suppose you can call it realistic. I mean, if that was supposed to mean that here's a teenage kid suddenly being placed in this life and death situation. You're the one who has to get in there. It's up to you. I don't want to do it. Maybe that is the reaction you're supposed to have. But I've seen that kind of reaction in other media that I've read. The one that comes to mind, a couple things come to mind. For one, you have the same kind of event happening in Dune. 15-year-old Paul Atreides, family, basically, your father's been killed, your entire clan, quote unquote, the Atreides household is pretty much wiped out. You and your mom have just been sent into the desert to die. How do you deal? Where you become sort of otherworldly and you can see things that nobody else can see. So there's one way of doing it. You either become one with the sandworms of Dune and then come back and start a holy war, right? The other one that came to mind while I was thinking about the whole whiny Shinji, I'm supposed to be the savior of the world, is a fantasy novel series called The Belgariad by David Eddings, in which a young boy, Garion, finds out that he's supposed to be the prophesied one to defeat the evil super being demon lord guy, and he spends a lot of the book saying, why me? But it's not, it doesn't come off as super whiny. It's like, it's not as whiny as Shinji. For some reason, something about that, I was able to read that and not get pissed off at Garion for saying, why do you keep saying that? He just sort of, yes, the reaction was realistic, but something about it was tempered versus what I saw in the anime of Shinji. So I don't know, there was some kind of disconnect that didn't work for me, but worked for me in the manga. I'll have to check it. Personally, my bigger in real life was he didn't seem to grow into the role. Well, he did see. Okay, so maybe that was the. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe he didn't. maybe because he wasn't growing into the role that I could see, at least at the very outset, that he was never going to say, okay, let it be me, let me do this, because that's what he does in the manga. He says, okay, it's me, all right, fine, I'll do it, and then okay, I see so far that I'm getting right now is that, okay, let's just do this and be done, and and then he finds that he is going to grow into the role. So maybe that's what it was in the anime. It's not as well defined, maybe. But again, I only saw the first episode, didn't last the second episode, so I'm hesitant to go back to deal with it all again, the whole whininess. So I'm just gonna go with the manga and leave it at that. So let's see, do I have anything else? I think that's it for now. It is about, what time is it? It's 10:30. We've been at it for about 2.5 hours. I think we're getting ready to wind this down. Those are the ones that I wanted to talk about in terms of anime. There's more that are coming up. I've got a bunch more that I want to talk about, but I think I'll save it for the next episode. And we're kind of closing in on the end of the evening. I can hear my voice starting to get a little bit tired, which I've been talking a lot, so par for the course. So I think I'm going to take a cue from our friend Aiai when she says the following.
時間あるな。寝よう。
Yeah, it's about that time. Let's sleep, according to that. So anyway, thanks you guys for coming out. I think we're gonna skip a week or so because of all the stuff that's happening Bandori wise in the next couple of weeks. I think the next stream we're probably gonna be on the 19th of November. So in a couple of weeks, we've got so much stuff going down. I'm probably gonna be busy on the 12th and 13th, catching the live stream from the girls band party. So glad I caught the live. Yes, thank you for coming out, Yo or Dre or Dree, whichever I'm going to call you Yo because it's Yoka. So you, thank you for coming out. I'm so glad you were able to stay. Do come by for the next one. There's going to be a lot more Bandori, and for those of you who missed it earlier, you heard this, and I have to. This was so much fun. So you remember Squeal number 1. And now Squeal number 2. All right, thank you, Ayaneru. Thank you guys for coming out. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Stuka. Thank you, and all you other folks out there who've been anonymous in stream, who've been lurking. Thanks for coming out. You guys are so much fun. Again, always fun. We'll see you guys again here on the 19th. And so with that, good night, everybody. Safe travels if you're heading out to go home. Otherwise, we'll catch you on next time. All right. What? Can't believe she's exactly. Yeah, that's Ron for you. So sedate and calm, and then you hear that come out of her mouth. All right. Good night, guys. We'll see you next time. Take care. This is Anime Show closing for the night.